Welcome, everyone. This is the Ends Justify the Memes, the show where the lowest of the low, that is the most wretched of wretched and deplorable to end all deplorables. Two white, heterosexual Christian males from the American South talk about culture, philosophy, history, health, fitness, and what it means to be a man in the 21st century. I'll be your host, Bill, and this is my producer and co-host, Tank. And below today, we have the most lovely Aryan-based blonde. So, crack open a beer and lend us your ear, because the ends always justify the memes. So, I'm going to show for Rebecca real quick. She was late because we had a scheduling issue, which happens, but she was interviewing Ann Smith of Attila's Gym. So go over to her channel, and you've had great interviews.
No, it's for the podcast on Sunday.
Oh, it's on the podcast.
Okay.
Oh,
Awesome.
okay. Okay, sweet.
Whoops.
Well, whatever. You can show for yourself. I have been watching your interviews with Dave Collin and Legal Man, and I highly agree with many and pretty much everything Legal Man said.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I saw you with Black Pigeon Speaks just the other day, so which was a nice interview. But hopefully, I have some clear pills for you today that we can get into, so that you're not so downtrodden, Rebecca.
It's a real problem. I don't know what to do about it. Everybody's like, you have to just, be happier. I'm like, so how does one do that? I don't know.
I think it's just a matter of perspective. I mean, trust me, all this stuff was weighing on my soul very heavily in the last few months. And then I would say I kind of, gave it to God, if you would, and just started getting proper perspective. But
yeah.
Before we get into the nitty gritty, we are going to do some Memecast news with you, because I love the reactions with the surprise cringe you give and whatever else. So Tank, go ahead and play that sounder, and let me get my screen share up here. All right, I got to size all these up on the fly, but to start with, it says, Dad, why can't the government do anything right? Well, Russ, people can't seem to figure out that both parties are really one organized group of evil, greedy bastards working for themselves against the people.
Ain't that the truth?
This is the duty of every parent to teach your children.
Is this like the new version of both sidesism, that now that we're in the post-Trump era, is that we're just going to keep rehashing this point?
Dude, I've been saying this for years.
Yeah.
I think that generally speaking, as far as the population goes, Republican folk are the people you want to align with. But as far as the politicians go, most of them are crap. There's a few good ones out there. I like Rand Paul. Matt Gaetz is pretty good. There's a few, but not a lot.
Yeah, that's true. But the base is also failing me miserably. Like, I heard somebody call into, I don't know, it was Joe Peggs this morning or something like that, or maybe he was replaying from yesterday, and it was somebody like that seriously thought that Trump was still post inauguration, like gonna pull something off.
Yeah, well, the QAnon people are out of their minds. They've been wrong about everything, and
It's a psyop. This trust the plan thing is just a way to do the
right. And I get into tinfoil. Don't get me wrong, but the tinfoil I get into is like the literal words of these folks who are the globalists, the bankers, the NGOs that actually pull the strings behind the scenes. Yeah, I'll talk about it because they talk about it. So I'm not exposing anything that's not exposed by themselves. I know Matt likes to stay away from the tinfoil, but I've been proud of him getting a little bit into the weeds.
Come to the dark side. Yeah.
Yes, Matt.
Come on, Matt.
Yes.
He's been getting into it a little bit, and I'm impressed.
As long as I've known you guys, it's funny to watch Matt's evolution.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people on your show were stating about being recommended the original episode. That happened to me months ago, and I actually watched it. I'd never seen it before, and
It's
I was
rough.
like, "Wow,
Yeah.
Matt was actually a liberal."
Yeah.
Like,
He really was. It's great to see how far he's come. And this coronavirus thing was really pivotal for him. I don't want to speak for him, but I'm pretty sure it was pivotal for him because once the data started coming out, Matt, anything where there's like a wealth of data is going to be persuasive because he's a reason-based person.
Very logical.
Very logical. So when the information started coming in about coronavirus, he was just sending me all this stuff like he would send me some data on, I don't know, all-cause death rates, and then we've been hoaxed. And then the next day it would be about, the PCR testing, everybody coming up positive. We've been hoaxed. And I could tell that I was like, it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. Well, this is the kind of stuff I get into on my personal channel, All Minus One. And I know my content can be kind of dry. I don't really care because it's about presenting information to folks. That's what it's about, In any case, we have the next meme. It says, will you stop somebody or someone's going to see us? And what are they going to do? Vote third party?
I'm never going to vote third party. I don't know that I'm ever going to vote again.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't really see the point in it.
Yeah.
Like I said, or like we've been saying, we need breakaway societies. So we made friends. We'll be doing a monthly stream with the folks over at the Weekly Narrative, Jeremy and Delaney. They have a pretty good show on Saturday evenings and Tuesdays. And yeah, we're talking the same way. And I don't know if you know Don the Pleb, because he's a smaller channel, but he's thinking the same thing. A lot of people are going this way. And something you mentioned with Black Pigeon Speaks, which we'll get into, is that you were talking about some regret you felt like having about focusing on certain things in the past. I think that there is this thing with new YouTubers coming up. Now, it's harder to get big, don't get me wrong, where we're talking in a different manner than the previous generation, if you would. So folks like you and Matt or like Romy Millennial, like I know Lauren and all, but you're talking in a sphere that no longer really exists.
Yeah. It was really easy back then. It was super easy. I just put out some garbage video where I'm rambling about feminists, and then I'm sitting on my bed, my laptop is moving. I'm just using my mic, my internal mic on my laptop, and like not even a real webcam, just the one that was built into my 2007 MacBook or whatever the fuck I was using. And that got 500,000 views. It was just a different world back then.
Yeah, you have hot girl privilege though. Like hot girl YouTube privilege.
The chick thing has been a big help. Like if I were a dude saying this stuff, people would be like, "Yeah, that's."
I remember watching some feminist trying to counter some sort of narratives of whatever, or maybe it wasn't a feminist, but I can't remember. But they were like, we can't all be goddesses, and they flashed to a picture of you, and I thought that was, yeah. I mean. But that was part of it. I mean, Lauren Shen, I think a big part of her rise was her camera presence. She's very attractive. Yeah.
Yeah. And the right amount of Asian, like whatever racial mix Lauren is like perfect, supreme genetics. She's so pretty. Like the first time I met her, I was like, there was a time where you weren't showing your face. Why? Like, why on earth would you do that? Why would you deprive us of that?
I mean, in real life, I think she's all right, but I also, when I met her in person, she wasn't wearing makeup or whatever. But when she does the makeup thing, I mean, she's very photogenic. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's keep moving with the memes. So we got Lady Gaga commencing the Biden Hunger Games. Hadn't seen that. I know. They said there was like the clouds parted because it was a dreary day and a ray of light came down.
Oh my God.
Quite crazy. But literally from the Hunger Games and Lady Gaga.
She surely did that on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I said. I get into tinfoil because look at this. This is what they do.
Oh my God.
I know.
These people must be stopped.
Oh, I've got a good banner for this episode.
Well, good, Tank. Work on that. So 2017, we will make America great again. 2021, this is a great nation. You did it. You crazy son of a bitch. You did it.
Oh my God. How did this happen?
Riggers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Riggers and NGOs.
Oh.
And that's all I'm going to say. So,
what the fuck?
Oh,
What is
Bernie.
that? Is that
Wait till Wednesday because the Bernie memes are lit right now.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, Bernie attended though. Yeah.
Poor
Mm.
Bernie. I almost would feel bad for him if he wasn't such a kook, but
That's
he didn't
kind of-
stand up for himself. So
He is hilarious. I mean, he says some stuff, and Bernie memes did get a little bit carried away with some of the Capitol rioters
Oh
showing up at
goodness.
the inauguration. No, actually, nobody showed up because the only people that showed up were the military.
yeah,
Nobody even watched.
I think it's higher than that now.
It probably is. Come on, man.
Come on.
My God,
What
did
a
you see
beautiful
him?
inauguration that was.
Oh God, this is fascism. Like, have you seen that meme? It's like, I'm so glad that we prevented fascism in 2021, and it has all the troops lined up for the inauguration. It's like,
Oh yeah. I got that one in here. It's coming up actually.
oh, sorry.
Oh, I don't care. It's
Spoiler alert.
we're a very lowbrow show, Rebecca. So don't worry about it. We need to build bridges, not walls. Open our arms, not clench our fist. Focus on the ties that bind us together, not tear each other apart. We need to be what we are at our best. One America, and then of course the fencing and gating. By the way, the 20 some odd thousand troops that are there will go away, but they're still going to keep like 6,000 from what I've heard, from what I understand.
Are they all gunless fat women? So I don't think other countries are going to be afraid of us.
Yeah, a lot of them are. So you remember when Biden said, all you need to do is buy a shotgun and then fire it off in the air and break a bunch of laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one needs an AR-15 to defend themselves. Just go buy yourself 21,000 soldiers.
What a son of a bitch.
I know. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Here,
Sorry.
oh, you're fine. I got like 3 of these. So here we have fascism and then anti-fascism.
Oh,
Yeah, well, we did it. We ended fascism. This is the one you were talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's insane. Absolutely insane. And then we have this. Imagine watching the politicians who struggled to give you a $2,000 in stimulus money just below 200 million so you could watch the new master be inaugurated.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Who got $2,000? My last stimulus check was $600.
I got 1,600, but that's between me, my wife, my daughter, I think, or something like that.
What? I can get extra stimulus money for having a kid?
Yeah, they should have gave you that. It's probably because you didn't have your kid last year on your taxes, but you'll get a tax break coming up. So
great. Thanks for giving me back my own money, you thieving pieces of shit.
Right. As they hyperinflate it currently.
I know.
So here we have Biden celebrating his inauguration.
oh my God. What?
Yeah, that face is about what the baby's making too.
Whoa.
Yikes.
Yeah. And then we're here have yeah, man, I'll tell you what, man. That dang old Truman, I'm gonna shove the prison.
I like how Boomhauer looks like he's 60. Good. Yeah.
Man, if I hadn't gotten married, I probably would have been Boomhauer.
It is the greatest show maybe ever in history, I think.
It's pretty good. I don't know. Futurama's pretty good too. I'm a fan of that. There's a few out there. Cartoons tend to be a little bit better. So here we have all of Biden's little sniffs, but we also have what's this guy's name? Chavez. Cesar Chavez, who's a replacement bust here for Winston Churchill. Now, if you don't know anything about Chavez, he's a commie. So,
yikes.
Yeah.
Was that Hugo Chavez?
No, Cesar Chavez. He was a labor organizer.
Who did they
Civil
replace
rights
with Winston Churchill? I vaguely remember talking about this. They replaced the Winston Churchill bust with that.
Yes, with a commie. So, from the U.S. Surgeon General, I've been asked by the Biden team to step down as Surgeon General. It's been the honor of my life to serve this nation and I will do all I can to ensure everyone has an equal opportunity to achieve and maintain health. See my full statement at, and then it says first thing Biden did was fire a black man.
Did he ever take down that tweet where he was saying that masks were useless?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. So here we have old decision guy. That's 2 weeks in a row I've gotten this. I haven't seen one in a while. So trans rights versus feminism.
Ooh.
Of course, we know how that went. That was Biden ordered girls and women's sports restroom locker rooms open to males. This was an executive order. I don't know how you can do this legally, but they'll allow it.
Great. That's great.
Mhm. And then, sorry, Rebecca, I know you're going to be doing news tomorrow night. So, so it says, do you even Michelle Obama? This is Bloomfield High School transgender athlete Terry Miller, second from the left, wins the final with a 55-meter dash over transgender athlete Andrea Yearwood on the far left. So you got two trannies here and regular girls.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. Should I talk about the tranny thing or about the black names thing?
Well, I'm
so
dyslexic, so I can't say or anything new anyways. Like, I got to figure it out. And it,
Andrea, Andre, whatever.
Andrea.
That person is Andre. Like, I
Yeah.
can see his dick.
Well, speaking of which,
Oh, that's a giant swinging labia. I don't know. That looks like B&Bs to me.
maybe it's just a micro penis.
I don't know. Matt and I have talked about it at length, and
I know.
we're
You guys
still on
talked
the
about it last
fence.
week, I think. By the way, thanks for shilling me and saying that you were coming on the show. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah, we need to grow. We need to grow. I think
Yep.
that we'll get more replays unless I'm not looking
Unless
at the
we get
chat.
banned.
Yeah, I think we'll get more replays than live viewers today, unfortunately.
That's so bad.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Yeah, so I don't even need to say it because we don't need Fed post.
Ooh.
But so what does that make these two? That's all I'm asking.
Oh my god. It's a good run, YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
You're an effing white male. Skrillex. And yeah, he actually is.
Oh, I'm glad they're dusting this meme back off. I like this one.
Talcum X, man. Talcum
Nice.
X.
Did you ever see Tree of Logic's breakdown of him? It was so good. This was like, I don't know, 3 years ago, but she really did a deep dive into his personal history. And he just grew up in like a normal suburban white family. And then to explain his light-skinned blackness, he said that his mom banged some random black guy. His parents are like still together. Like, man, you threw your mom under the bus just so you could claim to be a minority. Like, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't give him any credence at all. I think he's literally a grifter, and and he wants to be black, and he wants the prestige of black privilege.
But does anyone like give him any credence? How's this guy making money? I don't understand it.
He does, man. He does.
He's got to be working for the feds.
Maybe.
So we have mentally deficient and mentally deficient.
That's good.
Yes. And then we have our new secretary of whatever she is, the penguin.
What?
That is really accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first tranny to ever be in the Oval Office in a position of
They aren't even trying. It's like,
I know.
cut off your dick and maybe we'll talk about me like calling you she. But this is just all you did was grow your hair.
Right. Well, this one smells different according to Biden.
Oh my god.
But I got something a little bit better than that. And
Yeah. That's good.
yeah. Like this is literally my job now. I go and mine memes for the show.
Not too bad.
So War is a Racket. That is Smedley Butler, by the way, great Marine war hero. Your husband should know about him. 2 Medal of Honors, actually. Says not every 72 hours, or not even 72 hours yet, how Biden can support a new Arab Spring. Biden should not
It's
Okay.
probably
Gee up on.
give up, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Iraq disappears from Biden's agenda is a big mistake. Trump's withdrawal from Somalia is a security threat. Biden should reverse it. And the media is always all about war because it's not about actual anything other than their power and corporatism.
Yeah, like Jeremy said last week, everyone should be investing in Raytheon right now.
Right.
And what?
Raytheon.
Raytheon, they make weapons for
Oh.
war. So,
I know
and
the
then,
name.
and then we have here, they say the next ones will be sent by a woman. Really makes you feel like you're a part of history.
Islam really was right about women.
Ooh, spicy.
We're going to have some very based women memes here very soon, Rebecca. It's coming. Literally 1 hour after Biden takes an oath, the WHO admits the PCR test at high amplification rates alters the predictive value of the test and results in a huge number of false positives.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know that. So I've been in contact with, I don't know, maybe 300 people who's tested positive for, coronavirus. And of those, I would say, I don't know, 60% never showed symptoms. And then a lot of those later on went to actually get the virus. So I have no doubts that there's plenty of false positives.
Well, the thing is we've been saying this, people have been saying
Yeah.
it, and then they've been getting banned and whatever else. Now all of a sudden the WHO says, oh, hey, you can't spin these up 40, 50, 60, 80 times. And I've known like 30 people. I have a cousin that actually passed away, but they passed away with pneumonia. The way I look at it, people get pneumonia all the time from the cold. We don't classify it as a cold death. We classify it as pneumonia death.
Yeah.
Out of the other 30 people I know, they were fine. I had an uncle who also was in pretty bad shape, but he's literally like a 3 or 4 pack a day smoker and smokes inside his house. So come on.
Yeah. And your cousin, were there any underlying conditions?
I don't know because I'm not. It's a second cousin. And it's actually my cousin's husband, so I haven't seen them in a while. But I think he was a little bit overweight. He was in his 50s. I think he was like 55, 56. So I would just assume that, yeah, he probably did have underlying conditions, and yeah, he just got pneumonia. Look, my daughter had pneumonia a few years ago. It happens. Now she was young, like 12 or 13 or however old she was.
Yeah,
and she didn't have to be hospitalized or anything, but she was pretty ill. And how did she get that? Well, she had a little cold. Cold lasted about 2 weeks. And then she was having a really bad cough to the point where she started coughing up fluid.
Oh.
Yeah. And sure enough, it was pneumonia. That's what happens, guys.
Yeah.
And I know Matt covers this, but our excessive death rate has not changed. We were on track. And I talked about this. I talk about a lot on my channel on -1, but I was sharing this around back in April or May. Like, we've known everything we need to know about this since then.
Since then, yeah, totally.
Yeah, and there was a BBC article out where they were talking to doctors, and they were saying actually our excess deaths, like a lot of these people, if they would have died within a year, we'll take them off that excess death thing, but we do it a year later. We have to go back and look through the data. So everything we're getting told right now is just propaganda. It has nothing to do with standard procedures. We know that the British healthcare system, they looked at correcting their numbers because 21 days after you had an exposure to coronavirus, I think it was, they were still counting it as a death. Stupid
That's
stuff.
Absurd.
Yeah.
They would never do this with the flu. This is, I don't know.
No, but this is the Great Reset. I mean, that's what it's about. Klaus Schwab has particularly said we're going to use it for it. So, like I said, I use their words. I'm not Alex Jones. I'm not sitting here speculating a bunch of crazy stuff. They talk about it openly.
Yep.
So it says, breaking, over 100 people have died so far today from the coup due to President Biden's mishandling of the virus.
Yeah, we're not going to see anything like that.
Yeah. And here we had child trafficking, war deaths, obesity, flu deaths, starvation, suicide, and then the coup.
Yeah.
Cases.
All right. I figured you might like this. Who the American government should be listening to during the pandemic, who they are actually listening to.
I don't know if we should be listening to female doctors, but it's got to be better than the Ferengi, eh?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So here we have, we're 8 months into this pandemic and Donald Trump still doesn't have a plan to get the virus under control. I do. And then just President Biden now says there is nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months.
Yikes.
The gaslighting is unreal.
I know.
So here are my feds watching.
They have that Viking meme. Yeah.
Yeah. Sitting there laughing at the memes, but I appreciate it, feds. One day I'll buy you a beer, man. We'll do that thing.
Yeah, I hope that one day I get to meet my caseworker.
I know.
And so here's the coming Karens. He's posting anti-Biden memes.
This is really what's going to happen.
Yeah, we got a few years though. It's not going to collapse all of a sudden. It's still we still got a little bit of it built up. And then bam. Not gonna lie, those memes were pretty funny.
It was worth it.
All right, what do I got here? So, yeah, Bill Gates looking to buy some farmland now. It's really interesting how they want to herd everyone into cities, and then the elites want to move to the countryside. Very, very, very strange. Should be telling.
Well, he owns millions and millions of farmland acres of farmland. And he is the single largest owner of farmland in the United States now. So I think their plan is that he just wants to either, sterilize us with their GMO garbage or just starve us out. I get really tinfoil about this. I'm like, Bill Gates is trying to kill us all. I think he.
Well, there's an openly admitted depopulation agenda. I mean, it's out there.
Yeah.
So, if you couldn't tell, Epstein didn't kill himself. He's right there.
I believe it.
No, they had to get rid of that dude. He's dead. I've actually found out when I worked in the jail, found a guy hanging. It is possible to hang yourself the way he did, but all the other stuff on top of it, doesn't add up a lot. The cameras were out. The guards were sleeping.
Yeah. What a surprise.
Yeah. If you still don't see where this is going, you deserve to suffer. So from the World Economic Forum, a new report says we should tax meat eaters like smokers.
Absurd.
Absolutely. They just want to make you weak and feeble and dumb. So I don't know if you heard, private companies can do whatever they want, right? Twitter refuses to remove child porn because it didn't violate policy lawsuits.
Oh my God.
This is real news. I didn't make this up. I know part of our show's fake news, but come on. They did deplatform a bunch of Antifa accounts though. So
Great.
I wonder why. I guess they're like not needed anymore.
Right. I'm going to show you a series of images and you will tell me the first thing that comes to mind. White supremacy. I haven't shown you the image yet. I like this too. It's by Big Bad Bear Jew. He's a MMA guy. If you didn't know, he's a UFC fighter. That's what he goes by, his fighter name. I can't remember his name, but he's like, they announced he's like the Big Bad Bear Jew. America spent 50 years fighting the USSR just to become a gay, retarded version of it.
Oh my God. This meme is fake news because we never actually fought the USSR in any meaningful context.
We actually let them take over our government and all of our institutions.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Can I be a socialist? You can do anything if they work hard enough.
Who is they?
Yeah. This is bad parenting, by the way, folks. We need to do better. And this is also why we have these beliefs, because of bad parenting. Freaking boomers. No, my parents are boomers, so they did a decent job, I hope. It says women see themselves as perpetually oppressed because they only compare themselves to high status men and don't even see low status men as human.
Yep. Isn't that the truth?
Hey, you're guilty of this too, Rebecca.
Yeah, totally.
You're
I'm guilty of all the female stuff that I complain about, but I
of course
intimately
you are.
know the female psyche, which is why I can opine on it accurately.
At least you're self-aware.
It's true.
I'm really depressed. I need help. Oh, poor effing privileged straight white male. Boo-hoo, baby. And then it's all tolerance. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind. Mental health awareness. Da-da-da-da.
Why is it Murdoch Chan though? I guess it's pink-haired Murdoch Chan.
Yeah, I don't know. I did have a Murdoch gif. I didn't get into the show, but
Damn you, Bill.
I was trying to because of you, and I missed it. I guess
He fucked up.
Jeez.
Well,
That
mine is on my
show.
phone, and then I have to get them over to my computer. It's a whole complicated process. Sometimes things get lost in translation.
That's okay.
So, I'm not religious. I consider myself more of a Buddhist than anything. And then Buddha says, a country dominated by a woman is to be despised. And so to be despised is the beginning to become dominated by the power of a woman. Women are, I don't know why this came in so blurry. Anyways, it's a bunch of sayings from Buddha that are anti-woman. Women are continually in the power of the senses, saturated with impure and exonerable burning. They resemble fire which consumes all. And like I said, it goes on. Yeah, Buddha had some choice words, but most people don't know anything about their religions.
Based.
This is kind of old, but I dusted this off. So this is actually a journalist, and she said, I was in a sexually liberated alternative community in Brooklyn. It sounded wonderful. It represented freedom to me. It's actually just a bunch of guys using girls until they get old or go crazy and then get discarded.
Yeah.
And as a former player, as a former girl chaser, it's more or less what happens.
Yeah, that is what happens. I don't know what women think their life is going to be like if they continue down that road. It's like, obviously you should have kids. Like what is your plan here? You have kids with the highest status male that you can trick into marrying you. And then once you have kids, he can't leave if he's a good man. So there it is. It's a trap.
There you go. Yeah, this lady actually has a pretty interesting article because she's a bit lefty on dating a MAGA guy that I read. She's got a couple articles I've read in the past when I first found this. So when you finally find the idiot who has been sabotaging your life for all these years, this is true for every single one of you out there. I'm just telling you right now. And I am no different. So cutting off your pecker doesn't make you a woman. Just makes you a guy that cut off his own damn pecker. Little John Wayne wisdom. And we're going to get into some really based women stuff here. It says, a system of morality which is based on relative emotional values is a mere illusion, a thoroughly vulgar concept which has nothing sound in it and nothing true. That was Socrates.
Oh, God.
Sounds like leftism.
Yeah.
Once made equal to man, woman becomes his superior. A little spice there. Masculine republics give way to feminine democracies, and feminine democracies give way to tyranny. That is Aristotle. Aristotle also does talk about in his on politics. He talks about the Spartan city-state and believed that their downfall was allowing women to have rights.
Yeah, they clearly knew what was up. I don't know why every time something like this happens, we're like, this time it's totally going to be different, because women are fundamentally different than they used to be, because they now work in cubicles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an egalitarian, but there's also things that, yeah, it's like we shouldn't be pushing the way our society does for these things. And the only reason why we are is to dismantle the society.
Yeah.
Here from Cato the Elder, woman is a violent and uncontrollable animal, and it is useless to let go the reins and then expect her not to kick over the traces. You must keep her on a tight rein. Women want total freedom, or rather, to call things by their names, total license. If you allow them to achieve complete equality with men, do you think they will be easier to live with? Not at all. Once they have achieved equality, they will be your masters.
Well, can't argue with that. I can't. This is also based.
This is why I love you, Rebecca. So here from Arthur Schopenhauer, the fundamental fault of female character is that it has no justice. And we got a baby here.
I know.
Oh,
She's gonna
goodness.
run the show with us. Hi, girl.
No, that's cool. It's completely fine. So the fundamental fault of the female character is that it has no sense of justice. This is mainly due to the fact that women are defective in the powers of reasoning and deliberation, but it is also traceable to the position which nature has assigned to them as the weaker sex. They are dependent not upon strength, but upon ruse, and hence their instinctive capacity for cunning and their ineradicable tendency to say what is not true. For as
Yeah.
long as they're provided with claws and teeth, and elephants and boars with tusks, bulls with horns, and cuttlefish with its cloud of inky fluid, so nature has equipped woman for her defense and protection with the arts of dissimulation and all the power which nature has conferred upon men or man in the shape of physical strength and reason has been bestowed upon women in this form. Hence, dissimulation is innate in women in almost as much quality of the stupid as of the clever. It is as nature for them to make us of it on every occasion as it is for those animals to employ their means of defense when they are attacked. They have a feeling that in doing so, they're only within their rights. So to sum all that mouthful up, women are conniving and evil. Don't trust
Well,
them.
I don't know that we're evil. We just, we default to our biological imperative, which is staying alive and keeping our children alive.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought that was really interesting on our podcast the other day. Matt was talking about all of these ideas he would die for. And he's like, what ideas would you die for? And I was thinking, like, there is literally no idea that I would die for. I would die for my daughter. And that is the only thing on the planet that I would die for.
Yeah, and men will die for their spouses and their children as
Yeah.
well, but they definitely will fight and die over ideals, and most women will not.
No,
Um,
definitely not. If somebody held a gun to my head and they were like, I will kill you and your daughter, or you're going to be a communist, I'd be like, all right, it's a hammer sickle time.
And that was the thing about, Black Pigeon Speaks and his videos that he's done on societies and women. And again, this isn't women hating, guys. I actually quite like women. In fact, I don't do very well unless I have a woman in my life. But this is just looking at the reality of if you allow emotion and, like Rebecca said, that biological imperative to take over, you're not going to have a strong society. You're going to have just chaos. And men are natural leaders. Not all men are good at it. Don't get me wrong. But like I was talking with Jeremy and Delaney the other day, what do you, when you go out and you go out with a woman and you go, what do you want to eat, babe? She goes, I don't know. Like, what do you can play that game forever, or you can just go, hey, let's go do this. And she'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And, I used to be pretty good with women as far as like dating or getting them to date me. And part of it's just because you appeal to their emotions. You give them a good time. You have fun. And I'm not the most charming guy either, but it's not that hard to figure out.
Yeah. A funny guy can get really far with chicks, like incredibly far. And just having fun. Yeah.
So this says, remember what I told you. Women are like rocks. Skip the flat ones. I'm actually a butt man, but
That's good.
Yeah, but my wife has no rear, but she does have a chest, quite a chest. And now that she's 5 months pregnant, it's it's impressive. I'll put it that way for
Yeah.
a 120-pound woman. Um,
How it goes. Yeah.
yeah. So $8 per hour, $30 per hour, $100 per hour, priceless.
Look at that, Emmeline. Look at that. You're so fat.
That's good. So we have,
Oh.
out of all the rights of women, the greatest one is to be a mother.
Hey, girl. That
Yeah.
looks really fine.
She's hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like, she got the braid like you got going on.
It's just a way that we don't have to wash our hair. It's
I'm growing my hair back out, by the way, Rebecca, and I don't
Good.
send you guys super chats much anymore, but whatever happened to Bill with the good hair?
Oh yeah, you do have good hair.
Well, you used to say that all the time. And when I would donate, you'd be like, Bill with the good hair.
Yeah, I like a man with long hair. I wish that we would, warriors used to have long hair. I hate that hipsters have taken over this long hair culture. Everybody hates the man bun. I'm like, that this used to be a sign of masculinity.
I met my wife with long hair and longer hair, and I eventually got it cut down, and she likes that better. So I have to grow it back out because, screw her. Anyways, so this is what good parents do. It says, Jimmy, can you go baste the turkey, please? Sure, Mom. Mr. Turkey, despite being 13% of the population.
Ooh, based. I like a good pun.
And then it says, please, son, your mother and I are getting old. Please take the farm and let us continue our traditions of your great-grandfather from Germany spent his entire life savings to work hard on the land. And he's like, sorry, Pops, but I just found this totally cool suburban home. Time to sell the farm. And now it's please, son, why are you so unhappy all the time? Don't you want to sell your soul to the corporation working in the office 40 plus years in order to pay off college debt and overpriced 2-bedroom house? He says, I want to escape the degeneracy of this dystopia hell. I want to follow in the footsteps of my great-great-grandfather before me and work hard and buy a plot of land of my own and return to the realm of my ancestors.
Yeah.
And I am like, yes, this is my wet dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
And I just got a few more. We've been talking a lot through these, so it takes longer. So this is master yourself. Democrats, yay, my master won. Republicans, no, my master lost. And then free thinkers, F both of them, master yourself.
Yeah, really.
And actually, that was it. That's all I got.
Those were good. So that was some good meme mining. Hi, girl.
Well, I try to weave a narrative with it. So anyways, Tank, go ahead and play that little outro, man. All right, guys, we are back. I see we do have a little bit of a chat. We have at least 8 watchers on YouTube, and I don't know, only 2 on DLive. Guys, we are on DLive as well. I'm going to take the real quick chance to plug ourselves. There are links in the description. You can go to my channel over at All-1, and Rebecca is there as well. My channel's on YouTube, Rumble, and I have a locals page. I think... Okay. Yeah, Tank, we got a subscribe star in there if you guys wish to donate in any way. And we also have an Entropy, which you can donate directly. And as far as I know, they don't censor anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the only way I figured out to get Entropy to work, though, is through DLive. And if DLive ends up going down the same route we've been talking about, then who knows what's going to happen.
Well, DLive stopped monetizing political channels only because they were threatened like everybody else.
Yeah.
And so I think that they'll probably get back on it eventually, but this is about This is right now is like a server war. So a lot of these people outsource their servers. In any case, Tank, you got anything you want to talk to Blonde about? Because I've been running my mouth.
No, yeah, I've been watching your show with Matt for I don't know, probably well, not watching. I listen to it. I'm one of the audio only guys that would listen to
We
it.
got a lot of audio listeners. That's good.
Yeah,
It's a long show, so
yeah. So I've been listening for I don't know, probably 3 years now.
Cool.
So watching you guys come up has been pretty, it's kind of surreal now where you're sitting here and we're on our like little stream here.
I'm kind of nervous that she's coming on. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I was like, I was nervous when Matt came on too. I don't know why.
How long? I've known you guys like 4 years now, I think, right, or something like that.
Yeah. And we started with channels that I remember being so excited when I got to 100 subscribers. I was just thrilled,
Mhm.
and I never thought it would become something like this. I mean, we have millions and millions of views, and we just started. The first thing Skag told me was like, "All right, we're going to do this podcast, and we're just going to build it brick by brick. And as long as you show up every week, like this will be something someday." And I just never thought that it would have turned into this. And 5 years later, it's something bigger than we've ever imagined.
So what do you think? What do you think is going to have, like, for guys like me and Bill, who are just kind of getting started and doing this thing? What do you see? What do you see the future for this, sort of medium?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult on YouTube. It's not like the days of the Wild West on YouTube where you could make a good video and then it would be reflective. The number of views would be reflective on the quality of content. It's not like that anymore. But there still is a market for this kind of content. And so I just have to believe that because people want to see it, there will still be a way that it can be created. But if Matt and I started our podcast right now, I don't think that we would be able to be successful. So, I mean, for you guys, it's going to be about diversifying your platforms from the get-go, which you it sounds like you have. And as long as people want to watch it, like, they'll find a way. We're all going to be memory hold on the internet soon enough anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think going into this, me and Bill kind of expected that, we're definitely not going to be one of these guys that has, 100 billion followers or whatever. And really, my whole reason for doing this is I just wanted to, like, talk about this stuff, like, get people on, kind of exchange ideas. Actually, ever since we started this, I've watched the news a lot less. Like, I don't even care anymore now that I've kind of like had an outlet to vent all this shit. But
It's
I don't know.
cathartic, isn't it?
Yeah, it very much is. And I'm actually less black pilled because of it, because I was getting pretty bad there for a while.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that was very obvious. I do have so Tank produces this for me. He doesn't do any other content. He's actually, you guys hooked us up. Matt did. Because he
really?
Yeah, Matt, I don't know. I think I did a call-in show one night, and Matt's like, "Yeah, shoot me an email. I'll get your contact information up or something." And sure enough, I had a couple people. I think Mustache Asian asked me, but he didn't want to be on camera, and I was like, "Yeah, screw that, dude. I need someone who can be on camera."
Yeah, that's important. I like the producer, like, creator dynamic. Like Dan Bongino does that, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm doing my own content, so I'm doing like 2 to 5, maybe sometimes 6 hours of content on my own. I do long form stuff that I
Right.
pre-record, but it's like research. I can set up on my computer. The other day, I put out a video, and I literally didn't realize my mic wasn't working.
Oh no!
So I uploaded it to YouTube, and then I'm like, "Where's the sound? What's going on?" And I was like, "Man, I have to delete it and redo this." And it was so I do this little, what I call quick shots, which is just me rambling and ranting instead of having information up on the screen. And it's meant to be a shorter segment, but I'm like, I have to redo this, and I don't script anything. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what did I just say?
That must be hard. That used to happen when I was making videos back in the day. Like, you do something and you don't realize your camera hasn't autofocused, or that there's an issue with your lighting, or that it was picking up the wrong mic, and it's just, then you got to refilm the whole thing, and you've been working all day. It's just, I remember that. That's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, but I am working on. There's a couple alternative Fediverse type streaming systems out there where you can use private servers and there's not really anything they can do about it. A lot of them are foreign servers, but they have very few rules or restrictions. You can get on these sites and they don't show porn, but they have nudity and everything else.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be moving to that here soon. So there's a way to hang on and survive.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Tank said, I don't expect to be huge or anything. I just want to have a voice, and I've wanted to do this for a while, but once the riots started happening, I was like, okay, enough is enough.
Got to. Yeah.
Well, everybody needs to speak up.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. We go along with the lie. Solzhenitsyn talked about this. Milan Kundera talks about how they erase history, and the left is just so pernicious. They will destroy everything that we value and themselves in the process. And we just can't let them win. And for me, I'm more or less a pacifist. Don't get me wrong. If you put me in a certain position, I know I will probably get too angry to contain myself, because I know my potentiality for violence. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But I try not to go down that route, and it's part of my religious beliefs not to go down that route. And I don't want to see war, and I don't want to be a part of it.
No.
But unfortunately, I see we got about 8 years until that, and we're going to be in a hot war.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to avoid it for that long. And people are like, do you guys want a civil war? Is that what's going on here? And it's like, no, of course not. But, if we're pushed into a situation where we have to be violent, then I don't know what we're going to do. Okay, have you had enough? Sorry.
You need to step off, Rebecca, off camera for a few minutes.
Well, I normally can push my camera up enough, but something about the framing of this, like I'm not able to get it so that you can't see my boob.
Do you want to go to audio only? Because you can do that.
Can I go to audio only for a bit? And then
you should be able to.
We're fine with you showing your boobs, but
no deal. All right. Okay, girl. Okay, that's nurse. All right.
So we have a guy in the chat, Joshua Ham, talking about Don. Don from Playboy Media did a revenue raising stream for someone he knows. I was watching that earlier. He has a GoFundMe set up for legal fees because they were at the Capitol and they were going after them. So yeah, guys, go check that out. In fact, I have it. Yeah. Tank saying post it. Let's say I have it in my on my phone, so I'll put it up here in a second.
Okay, there we go. And there is peace.
Oh yeah.
If there is just like boob in her peripheral vision, she's just like, give me now or I will destroy everything.
I too was 21 once.
Oh, she's
all right.
sweet.
That should be. Why didn't that post? Let's say I just put a link in the chat. Why didn't that come up?
It didn't come up. I don't know. Sometimes links don't work in the main chat. So I don't really know.
They'll hide it sometimes. You might have to send it in 2 different chats. That sometimes works.
Yeah, I'll have to get it over to my
anyway,
computer for my
Dawn of the
phone.
Plebs having a charity stream, so everyone should go check it out and give some money to this cause because it sounds like it's pretty good. One thing I want to talk to you about, Blonde, was how's your conversion to Orthodoxy going?
It's not going. I mean, okay, so I'm having an issue with Orthodoxy, with like the racial element of Orthodoxy, because I just keep thinking, like, even though there are things about this that appeal to me more than Catholicism, I'm not fucking Greek, I'm not Eastern European. It's like, what by my ancestry, I am Catholic. So I don't really know. I'm having a hard time rationalizing it. And then I just love my priest.
Right.
He's a former Marine and he was married, so I know he's not a kid diddler. And I just really like him. I like his sermons. I like the community. And so I'm like, I'm going to ride this Catholic thing out until they send him to some godforsaken city and then the church betrays me. And then maybe I'll give Orthodoxy a revisit. I hate to be a fair weather Catholic, but like they cuck so hard on some issues. And then the Pope is just a disaster.
The Pope is all about the Great Reset, by the way. if you didn't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a socialist. It's like, what am I supposed to do when people are telling me that this guy has been endowed with supernatural gifts from Jesus Christ himself? Like,
Well, none of that's biblical either, though. I
it's
know
not biblical, right? Yeah.
I know Catholics argue about it and whatever. I mean, my wife grew up Catholic, but yeah, it's just not biblical, guys. I'm sorry.
It's not biblical, yeah. And he's just a man. Like, I can't act like anything else. But there will be another pope. I mean, that guy's old as shit. So, is that really a good reason for me to bail? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, I converted to Orthodoxy when I was 25. I grew up Southern Baptist.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was, when I heard you mention it, I kind of reminded me of because my wife, she is Roman Catholic, and we got married in the Orthodox Church. But yeah, I mean, you're right. There definitely is a an ethnic issue. It's not been an issue for me. I can say that the Greek community has been pretty welcoming. And part of the reason is because there's so many of them that's old and their kids don't care about religion, so they're just happy anyone's there.
Yeah.
Guys, real quick, I did get the link in the chat.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah. So it's in there, guys. I'll put it up there a couple times. If y'all want to go donate, it's literally for legal defense of someone who did nothing wrong.
Mhm.
They were just at the Capitol and they're being gone after. So
Yeah, probably charged with felony murder or some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Well, that's good that they're accepting, but still, I'm like, what kind of kinship do I have with a bunch of old Greek people? I don't know.
Do you like Euros?
Everybody likes Euros.
That's all you need, bro. That's it.
All right. Okay. I like that
there's-
yogurt sauce too.
Yeah,
so-
there's all these old Greek women that just want to cook for you. That's all they want to do.
And I like dolmas. Maybe this is the one true truth.
Yeah.
I think that I don't like organized religion. I don't think it's meant to be that way per se. I think it's supposed to be. I'm just a big decentralized guy. I think everything should be decentralized. But as far as Orthodox teaching, I think it is far more correct to the perspective of early Christianity, because I study the first 3 centuries of Christianity pretty heavily. It's highly influential in my life. And yeah, they get a lot of stuff right that the modern church does not. And the Catholic Church, basically, as far as I'm concerned, is the harlot that rides the beast from the Book of Revelation. So,
yeah.
Well, I mean,
sorry, go ahead. Oh, I mean, from a personal perspective too, they would bless my marriage, which the Catholic Church won't unless my husband converts. The Orthodoxy will, and then all of us can have our baptisms transferred.
Okay.
They'll recognize the baptisms. So
yeah, they recognized my baptism in when I was Southern Baptist.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So as long as you're baptized, as long as your baptism ceremony says that you're baptized in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Trinity, then they consider that good. At least in the Greek Church, I don't know about anything else. So yeah, so even they would not rebaptize me because I was thinking like, hey, should I get rebaptized? They said no, we do not do that. So it was a pretty interesting experience, and then of course, me and my wife got married in November, and she is a cradle Catholic. Yeah, she's a cradle Catholic. So she had her whole life. She was dreaming of having a Catholic wedding, and then she ended up getting married in the Orthodox Church.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny. But I think she's kind of like you. Like she grew up in this church, and I think a lot of Roman Catholics and probably a lot of Orthodox too that grow up in it it's more of a cultural thing than it is a religious thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd even extend that to because the rest of my family are still Southern Baptist. They don't even know what Orthodoxy is. And theirs is very much cultural. Like when I was growing up, you could stand in my yard and throw a rock and hit a Southern Baptist church in every direction. And they were all like 25% filled. And the reason why some existed is they really didn't like each other. And it was just this really weird kind of dynamic. Like I didn't really like it growing up. And then, I went like super atheist for a long time, like one of these Dawkins cucks. And then I went to Orthodoxy. And it's been a pretty good ride.
If you
But
read
yeah.
like Russian Orthodoxy Today, Rebecca, I've sent you some articles in the past, but I know you never read your emails.
I'm
So-
so bad. Yeah.
But if you read like Russian Orthodoxy Today, they are like super based. They are like,
Really?
yeah. I was reading articles back in the spring. They're like, yeah, BLM is a hate group and blah 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 blah, and they're against leftism. They're against all this stuff, and they're very outspoken with it.
Good. As they should be. I do have to wrap it up. My baby is like really had it with me right now.
Well, we knew we might not have you for forever. We were gonna try and go till 5, but if you can't make it, I understand.
Yeah, I think she needs something that I can't give her from this position. I don't know what it is, but I guess we'll try some stuff. What is it? Having a kid is truly all consuming. But I appreciate you having me on. I'll wait until Tank gets back.
Yeah, he's gonna have to because he runs the stream. So, well, if we can have you on again sometime, that'd be great. I kind of wanted to talk to you for a while, but I do know, having a newborn is not the easiest, and I'm sure you're keeping pretty busy.
Yeah, I mean, she's 7 months now, so she's not really a newborn anymore. That's crazy to think about. I was just looking at pictures of her yesterday from when she was born, and I showed my husband. And he goes, "Is that our baby?" It's like shocking that she's grown so much. She's unrecognizable.
She's starting to crawl and stuff yet?
Not quite. She's, getting on her hands and her knees and rocking back and forth a little bit. And she's army crawling a little bit, but she's just rolling across the room. It's just trying not to get her to kill herself on a daily basis is truly a full-time job.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I'm going to be, my daughter's 16, so I was like 23 with the last one, and now I'm going to be a dad again at 40. So it's definitely going to be a different kind of thing for sure.
Yeah. But it's still fun. And Alec Baldwin just had a kid and he's 68. He's fine. It's fine.
Well, yeah, I chide all men that get vasectomies. You should be knocking women up when you're 80. So
but thank you so much for having me on, and I hope we can do it again. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Tank. It was a lovely conversation, and I will see you guys. I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of you again. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye, Will. Bye, Tank.
Yep.
All right.
She, Emmeline was being a little fussy there, so she stepped out of the room, and I guess she can't get her fed right.
Okay, that's fine.
So you want to we want to engage with the chat for a couple minutes before we get off here, maybe?
Yeah, that's fine. Some people are talking about orthodoxy here. Joshua Ham's got says that I was agnostic for a while. Deployment didn't exactly help my spiritual side. The main bonus of my church was that they actually helped their flock, which is helpful when they only had 7 kids. Yeah, that's true. I grew up, like I was saying, I think he mentioned before that he grew up in Southern Baptist Church too. A lot of these guys that I grew up with in the Southern Baptist Church were absolutely nice people, and they had a lot of like relatively decent charities going on. I don't know, something about it never really fulfilled me, and I think part of the reason is that I had a lot of questions when I was a kid about religion, because and you guys that were Southern Baptists will probably know this. I know I'd be sitting in Bible school or whatever, and they'd hand me a Bible or a book or whatever we were studying, and I'd flip through and I'd see all these maps, right? And I would see like Jordan and Palestine and, the rivers and Galilee and, whatever, all these places that are in, the modern day Middle East. And I was like, well, how did Christianity get from, this very small Middle Eastern religion all the way to, Appalachia, United States? And for me, a lot of guys didn't really have a lot of good, like my pastors and stuff, they didn't really have a good answer, because they didn't really view Christianity as this piece of history through time. It was very much like the Bible was written or canonized, or however you want to look at it. And then nothing happened, for how many ever years. And then all of a sudden here we are and, singing hymns in a Baptist church. And that never really sat right with me. And then when I found the Orthodox Church, it had a lot better explanation for that.
Right.
Frame.
I mean, I grew up Pentecostal in a Pentecostal church. My dad's a minister, but he left and became independent when I was about 8 or 9. And the Pentecostal church has its roots going way back to the Azusa Street revival. out in California, but they're basically the charismatic movement. And the charismatic movement has got a lot of problems because it's all about emotions
Mhm.
and there's no logical basic roots there. And we're talking about the Southern Baptist Church. Currently, the Southern Baptist Convention is pushing wokeism and all kinds of other stuff. Now, every church within the Southern Baptist, they're actually, even though they're under this title or whatever, they're completely independent.
Mhm.
So you have Calvinists in there, and you have non-Calvinists, different belief systems. So there's a lot going on, but wokeness is invading the church and has not done so at all in the Orthodox Church, from what I can tell at all. Like, they are pretty anti-woke.
I've seen a couple like priests come out and say, like, write some articles or something and say some woke-ish things, and they've typically been shot down pretty quick by the bishop of wherever they're from. I don't know how long that's going to be the case. The trend is moving that direction. One of the main problems with the Orthodox is that it's a very gray religion. A lot of the people that are born into it, don't care. And then the only thing that's left are older people and converts, and you can only have so many converts. So the old people, they like to see young blood come in, but like what Rebecca was saying is that it's right. A lot of people are not Greek anymore. So here's this cultural thing that they're kind of seeing as like a cultural erosion. So I don't know. It's
about an hour down south from where I'm at. There's a Celtic Orthodox church.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
They're part of the Orthodox faith, but they're apparently there was a Celtic branch at some point in Ireland or whatever, and that's what they are.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, there could be the Orthodox Church has mainly existed in the East, but there's nothing really stopping, like, let's say, a Latino Orthodox church from popping up. It's just there's not enough Latino Orthodox for it to matter, so it's not going to happen. Because there's the Greek Orthodox Church in America, and there's a Russian Orthodox Church in America, and there's also the Orthodox Church of America, which is like kind of different. I've never been to one, so I don't really know what to tell you, but it's got a lot of weird stuff going on because from the Orthodox perspective, America is a country being proselytized. I grew up Southern Baptist, and we'd have like these mission trips or whatever to Mexico or whatever, and try to convert people to Christianity. Well, you've got people from the Eastern Europe coming to the United States trying to convert people to Orthodox. So it's kind of a weird dynamic that we're seeing.
Yeah, well, I mean, the division of the church is pretty old. It goes way back. Hippolytus was the first anti-pope. This was in the second, it might have been third century. I can't recall. But the Pope at the time, by the way, the Pope he was just the Bishop of Rome. And that was like a later thing that they lied about. But Rome always wanted to basically take over and take charge. And Hippolytus came in, wrote a bunch of stuff that the Pope was being heretical because he was allowing slaves to he was allowing masters to basically sleep with their slaves because he said, well, basically it's their wives, and do other pagan practices. And so some people voted on the one guy, I can't remember his name, and some people voted on Hippolytus. And this is very early on in the church history. Another big thing that there was a split over between the East and Western churches was the idea of celebrating the Passover, Paschal, or on the actual day, or to do it on Easter, which is an old pagan holiday, celebrating the goddess of Ishtar. So the Roman church was Roman, and the Greek church was Greek. They were very different minded, and the Greek held closer to the tradition ever than the Roman church did. And if you read in what the book of Revelations is talking about, it's talking about a false church. It's talking about a leader in the false church. All of the reformers thought that the Pope was the Antichrist. And as I often bring up, so did Sir Isaac Newton, who wrote a very interesting book on the book of Revelations. By the way, if you didn't know this, he basically retired from being a scientist and just spent the rest of his life in Christianity. But yeah, I mean, there's just a long history there of separation from the beginning. Hell, the book of Romans, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people use Romans out of context, but the book of Romans in the Bible was written to the Church of Rome because Jews had been excised from the city for about 10 years and they were allowed to come back. And a lot of the issues that were going on in the church at the time were the issues between the Gentile Christians and the Jewish Christians. Because all the early Christians were Jews until Peter had, of course, the vision in the book of Acts. But the yeah, that division created things that there were issues that have lasted for centuries. I mean, the Catholic Church has been very anti-Semitic over the years, and partially too because they killed Christ, but they also have in every single one of their churches, they have Christ still hanging on the cross, which that's not a Christian perspective. That Christian perspective is from the resurrection. It's the eighth day. It's the new day. So that's a really weird thing to me. Why would you celebrate his death and his defeat, essentially, or appearance of defeat? And if you guys don't know either, like altars in Catholic churches, you can look all this stuff up. I'm not full of it. Altars in Catholic churches have to have relics in them. And what a relic is like an old bone of a saint. Anybody in the faith is a saint, by the way, so I don't really buy that nonsense that they do. Anybody in the faith is a priest. A priest is just a person who can talk directly to God. But see, they set up these structures so you have to go to, some expert, if you would, Tank. I know you like experts. But yeah, they have like bones and their altars and stuff, and you're not supposed to worship. That's all like pagan stuff. If you know about the history of Vatican City, it was the Vatican. That area was like essentially where they had circuses back in the day. They had like gladiatorial games. They had chariot races. There were all kinds of dead folk buried there. And then the seat of the church is there now. So yeah, it's kind of antithetical to anything in the Bible. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. It's weird. Like I said, I grew up Southern Baptist, so anything that had any kind of ritualistic sort of ceremonies for their services was really, really weird to me. And then, now that I've been Orthodox for so long, when I go to a Catholic service, like with my wife, sometimes it feels like it's back at a Baptist church almost. It's like we sing some hymns, we do some things, and that's just kind of it. Like the Orthodox liturgy feels a lot more spiritual, and I know a lot of people get they don't like the idea of window dressing, and they don't like the idea of churches being pretty, but sorry, I do.
There's an ambiance there, right?
Yeah. And
if I go to like a midnight mass or something before Christmas, I've done that several times.
Yeah.
I'm not Catholic, but yeah, it is nice. It is very, you get a certain ethereal presence, if you would, but I think that things have got to be also a lot simpler than that, because again, the early church were people who were meeting in homes.
Yeah.
Until Constantine came around, sometimes it was legal, sometimes it wasn't. They were persecuted sometimes they weren't.
Well, we saw that in the Soviet Union. The same thing happened. Obviously, when the Russian Orthodox Church got persecuted, they weren't meeting necessarily in their big fancy churches. They were meeting in basements and stuff because that's all they could do. So yeah, I mean, I think you're right. There's definitely that. You don't have to have all the pretty ceremonial stuff, but it is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like, I do like that, and I also I like that majesty, but at the same time, I think that is a need that we're searching for, versus to be able to connect with God truly is in like a humble manner, being on your knees and praying. Guys, by the way, we didn't mean to make this like a religious show or anything. We do talk about religion on the show, but we were supposed to be with Rebecca. She told me, I mean, I've told her from the beginning she could go anytime she needed, but she told me I could have her as long as I wanted. And then she screwed up the time and showed up late. So it is what it is. We'll try and have her on again in the future. Let's see. Josh Ham says old school philosophy talks about how beauty helps humans connect to the divine. Yes, but so does nature. And again, if you look in the very beginning of Romans, Paul talks about that. How can you see nature and observe the natural world and not understand that there's a God, not understand that there are rules in the place? And of course, science, true science, where we actually measure things and we can make predictions off those measurements and not just, believing the experts. We can test the theories, the hypothesis, and all that. Science is the study of natural phenomenon, and again, someone like Isaac Newton came up with physics and calculus based on his deep beliefs and faith, because he wanted to understand how the world worked, and in a way, almost prove that God exists. And there's other stuff, mathematical stuff in the universe. It's just like crazy. What is it? The Fibonacci sequence is one of them. The repeating spirals of things. Those patterns are all throughout the universe. The way physics works with the I forget what they are. What are they? 5 universal constants that have to be perfectly in place, or if they weren't, anything, as far as physicists believe, the slightest deviation in the entire universe would be unraveled. So you can find God in mathematics or science or anything if you know where to look. But where I know God isn't, freaking commies.
Well, going back to Joshua's point about beauty helps humans connect to the divine. That's true, but there's also a much simpler sort of understanding of this concept I think we're getting at here. So when you walk into an Orthodox church, for instance, we're really big on icons. If you don't know what icon is, it's a painting, basically, specific, and done in a specific style. And normally it depicts the story, like the birth of Jesus, or when whatever, with saints, all this sort of thing. And it's got a lot of symbolism. And when you take it back to like it's just its function, here is a painting that tells you a story, that came about in an era where a lot of people couldn't read. So you can go into a church, they can look at a wall and they know what it means without being literate. And that's one way to, like, spread the message. It's a very functional tool. Now, it's pretty because if I get up there and draw a bunch of stick figures, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. But someone who's talented and can actually make beauty and make art can get up there and paint and depict a scene, that's a story from the Bible or whatever, and you can connect that with what you already know. So it's a good thing. I appreciate it. I think this world stands to have some more beauty in it. We've kind of lost touch with that, so I'm all about it.
Someone mentioned what was it? Alan mentioned redshift. Redshift's an interesting thing, where the mainstream physics say that redshift is based on the Doppler effect. We don't know that. You can't prove that, but it's what they believe. It's what it appears to be. But if you start getting into galaxies and stars, certain stars that have filaments, which are basically a trail of dust or plasma attaching to another one, they find that they're redshifted really weird. And you can go down a deep rabbit hole and all this, where scientists who are in that field looking at those things actually think that the stars might be far more further away than they actually are. And redshift doesn't necessarily notate any sort of distance, because although one object might appear to be forward or backward or whatever in perspective, because of redshift, they are obviously somehow connected with that filament, and the filament will be the same redshift as one or the other celestial bodies. So it's a really interesting kind of rabbit hole. Another one you could go down is the electric universe, which is pretty interesting stuff. I'm not saying it's true, But it's the idea that not everything is connected by gravity, and that it's electromagnetism. It makes a lot more sense, actually. So I like that kind of stuff, though. I like thinking in new ways, because we have an orthodoxy of science. We have the experts, right, and they tend to be often disproven because they're basing everything on theories, and it's not true law. And I know someone will come along and go, "But Bill, that's how science works. We readjust over time." It's like, no, that's actually not how science works. Like if you had an old theory, sure, you adjust it, but true science is about measuring things and saying that these things are how it actually works. So what we are presented with often is that this works, or this is how it works. And then later on they go, well, we were wrong about that for the last 50 years, but here's the new way to think about it. Like the Big Bang, for instance, that was a big deal. I think I was in middle school when they decided that all of a sudden, oh, the Big Bang's the new way. It's no longer a steady state universe, which is what they believed before. So just lots and lots of crazy stuff. Plus, man, if you go out, what was it? There's one section in the sky, one section that looked completely dark and completely black. They took the Hubble telescope, it's just a little pinpoint of a dot, and they magnified and zoomed it there. And they found more galaxies than they ever knew existed in just one little tiny spot. And we couldn't see any of it. So there's just a lot of mysteries to the world, to the universe that we live in.
That's probably a good place to call it before we get sidetracked to some big ordeal here.
Yeah, we both have stuff to go do. But guys, thanks for joining and staying. I know a lot of you dipped out after Blonde built up a little bit. Sorry we didn't have her longer. We will try to reschedule and have a better interview and stream with her. Also, we will be streaming this Wednesday. I don't think I have any guests or anyone lined up. Maybe I can work out something, but our normal time is Wednesday at 7 p.m. Guys, give us a like, share this, subscribe, please. We are at 99 subs. You can put us at 100 today. Put us at 100 subs over on YouTube. Today. And we're at 68 on D Live. So we got 2 viewers there. It looks like it's probably just you and me, Tank.
That's fine.
Yeah. But there are links in the description. I do my own content on All Minus One. You can find on YouTube, Rumble, and Locals. If you don't know Rebecca and you want to get into her, I got her links in the description as well. But I'm sure many of you came over because of her. So like I said, this Wednesday, 7 p.m. And after that, we're going to have about a week or 2 off because I'm going on a trip to take care of some family stuff. And I'm also going to get some pretty cool training in with like Elliot Hulse and some Navy SEALs, and a good friend of mine is a combat instructor. And so going to do some man stuff, get beat up, probably come back with a black eye. Maybe we'll see. Hopefully my eye doesn't split open, because that last time I trained, that happened. Took a nice headbutt to the eye, and that stuff happens. But in any case, you got anything, Tank?
I've got nothing.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching once again. This has been the Ends Justify the Memes. And remember, the ends always justify those memes. Play the outro, bud.
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. Macho Madness, yeah, has got more to offer than President Jack Tunney thinks that I got, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you.